Hi, Vince.
Hey, Pam.
How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Just okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are
Um,
we are recording, okay?
okay.
So just to let you know that hopefully the recording will go good and um, you know, it'll we'll
Right.
know what happens. Yeah.
All right. I have all my documents ready. Oh, you made me a co-host already.
Yeah. I made you a
Want to make sure.
co-host and you should be, able to do everything.
Yep.
But not breakout rooms because I was on uh the athletes had a 10 o'clock meeting and
Yeah.
Mia wanted to know, she wanted me to show her how to use breakout rooms and stuff like that. They had a workshop today and so I
Right.
got on and was showing her how to do that, but some of the stuff she had to be a host for, and I made her a host as opposed to a co-host. And of course, I didn't stay on the meeting. I just got her all set up and then left the meeting. So
Okay. Well, I'm not worried about breakout meetings.
yeah, no, we don't need breakout rooms, right?
Yeah. One of my athletes was on the meeting, so he actually came to practice and just sat in the office and like stayed on the meeting
Okay, Zach's on.
and then hopped in. Yeah.
Zach mustn't have classes on Saturday.
I'm not sure when Zach
no,
has class.
no
He's been
classes on
every-
Saturday, Zach. Are you sure
No,
you're in
no.
college? Yeah.
Yeah. No, we had our inter squad meet this morning. So got breakfast, came up here. It's kind of nice today.
Okay.
How was the inter squad meet?
It was really good. I won the 2-back.
Nice.
I got 4th in the IM and breast, and my times were pretty good. I almost won a best time in my 2-back, so I was happy with that.
Oh, there you go.
That's
Not bad for
great.
October 2nd, right?
Yeah, I was really happy.
Where do they they practice at the Case Western's pool? Their pool is all available and everything.
Yes, we actually have 2 pools. So we have our main competition pool, and then we have like a rec pool. We use our rec pool for like warm-ups and stuff, but then our main competition pool we use for the competing, which was really nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and Vince, I don't know what happened last weekend with House of Delegates. I tried to get on with the link I was provided, and they wanted a delegate code and everything. I didn't have anything. I was never sent anything. And so
you had to register.
I did. I registered and I didn't receive anything. Yeah. So, but there's been all this communication problems from USA Swimming recently. So perhaps that, explained it. I don't know. Yeah.
2 of the athlete reps had the same issue, Pam. They never got their link.
Yeah. And, and I thought, well, I was on the special meeting in June and there was no problem. And, but on this one there was. And so, life is, that's what it is. So what did they decide, Vince? Are we meeting the requirements we need to continue to be an NGB?
Yeah. So they redid it. And I'll put in my announcements, but the HOD is now going to be 40% athletes, 40% coaches, and 20% non-athlete, non-coach.
Okay. Good.
So we'll have 5 reps in Lake Erie. So we'll
Okay.
have 2 coaches, 2 athletes. I think that's what it is. I'll have to look. But yeah, I mean the general composition, I guess I wasn't
Good.
worried about it specifically.
Yeah, I figured they would straighten it out because they would not want to lose their standing.
Yeah, that first one they put forward was a disaster though. So they did
Yeah.
a lot better. The best one was if they didn't get enough athletes interested, they were going to weight their vote. So like if we need 150 athletes, but only 100 athletes are there, each athlete's vote counts for 1.5 to kind of make up
a
for,
1.5 person, right?
yeah, well, they would count as 1.5 because the AEC was seated and then they got to change somewhat who was included in the athlete pool. They're going to still try and make it bigger, I think.
Yeah.
But we met the criteria, so we're not gonna. No one's attacking USA.
Yeah, and I knew we would do that. I knew we would do that. So,
Yeah.
On the athlete side, I know right now they're planning on having each LSC be assigned a 10-year athlete. So that'll be looking forward to too.
Yeah, they were talking about that, having like one of the 10-year athletes assigned each LSC so they can meet with grassroots athletes, is what they kept calling the 2 years or whatever. So that they have some type of voice. I thought that was great. I thought they did a lot better the second time than they did the first time.
Yeah, they were more motivated to get it right.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they had a lot more voices in the room too, a lot different ones. So
that's good. That's
good.
The
developmental meet thing passed, but like only sort of. It was like heavily edited. I don't know what we're gonna do with that.
That was weird. I'm not gonna lie. That was weird.
I mean, I thought the only benefit that LSCs couldn't try and make money off of the meets, so they were cheaper and shorter. But then, well, to get those intro athletes in, but then they took out the part where the LSC can't charge splash fees and stuff. So it's not cheaper, it's just shorter. I'm like, we could do that without this legislation.
Yeah.
But so now I'm like, no one's gonna do this. Like, I understand it passed, but I can't imagine how that fits.
Well,
but whatever.
Well,
I'll let tech planning figure it out.
Yeah, I put in a committee application to be on the National Registration Committee again. I never planned on being on this committee again. I was chair of it for 4 years, but there just are so much things happening, and especially they're going to go to this online registration in quotation marks, and truly some of the people that are in the positions at USA Swimming, they're kind of new. They don't know what's happening. All the old people that developed swims and worked on this, whether it was their outside vendor, Satera, they're all gone. The IT department is completely new, just about. And so I talked to the current chair of it, and she said they need people. They need someone with a computer background, and I do have the computer science background. So I don't know whether they'll accept me or not. I'm probably a little bit too assertive at times with expressing my opinion about what we should do and not do. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Yeah. Communication is almost non-existent, from USA Swimming as to what's happening.
Yeah, it's been a little tricky.
Yeah, it's just been it's been very difficult, and for them to come up with new club stuff on August 12th, that was a real thing. And I've been attending the registration committee and meetings, and they just are not happy that you make those decisions 2 weeks before registration starts.
Yeah, right. Sarah, would this be helpful? Is this a helpful announcement for you?
Hi, Sarah.
Yes, thank you. Hello. Who's Jack? Jack who? So I have for attendance.
Hi, Tiffany. You're outside. I'm inside, but you can see my beautiful background, and I can actually see this right now. But I only see one sailboat out there.
Hey, Sarah, it's Jack Gardner.
Oh, thanks, Jack.
Yep.
I have to sit outside. It's such a nice day. Can't go inside. It might not be back tomorrow. So
Right. No, it's supposed to get really cold. Yeah. Hopefully not snow cold. Yeah.
Sarah, do you have the agenda in a Word document that I could edit live? Like, could you email it to me?
Yeah, I'll email it to you right now.
Yeah, because of the thing I gotta add, at least then it can be updated. Pam, do you know how to turn off the ding dong when people enter the room?
That's a setting. That's a setting.
Well, I don't think I can change it as a co-host because I tried last time
Yeah,
and I couldn't
no.
turn it off.
Okay, I can make you the host and we'll see if that will help. But it's a setting that's set ahead of time. And so it may be that you can't do it at all once you're in the meeting. Yeah. But I will,
Okay.
and I mean, I can do that for future if you prefer that we not have the dinging. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of ding dong. Ding dong.
Yeah. And I mean, and I mean, I said it that way so that we're aware that we have to admit.
I kind of
people.
like it because then I know someone else is coming in.
Yeah, no,
Ugh.
and that's how
Sorry.
I've been. That I know someone does want to get in. It's like when your doorbell rings. Yeah.
Oh, ding dong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a personal thing. It's fine.
Vince, did you
Yep.
get the updated schedule from Bill?
I just hold on. When did he send it?
Earlier this week, because I'm gonna do it.
I just
But I'll
have
send it.
whatever. I just have whatever you sent in the email 4 days ago. To the whole House of Delegates.
Yeah, okay, hold on. I don't know if that was it or not. Let me.
Let me pull it up and show you.
While we're talking about updated stuff, Sarah, did you get the email from Megan about the updated legislation proposal?
Oh no.
It literally, the only thing that's
Oh.
added is my name as a proposer. That's the only difference.
Yes, I do. Yes, and then I forgot to like switch it.
No,
Now
that's
that
fine. I
you,
just
like,
want to make
say
sure
that.
you got it.
Yeah.
Sarah, that's what I have.
Okay, hold on. Master schedule.
Sarah, do we have a definitive date on May Madness, or am I leaving it as May 1 or H question mark?
I don't know. That would have to
Okay.
be like a Kristen.
Oh, just kidding. I'm still behind. My bad.
That's the one I got to. So perfect.
Hey, the date for JOs will be the July 22nd through the 24th.
Sweet. Then Vince, you could send that to me when you're done. Like when we're all done.
Where am I? There it is. May 22.
No.
July.
Bye. That's gonna be our first meet.
Yep.
Chips.
Good luck.
I don't know. That could be the new way to go. See
It
what
could
happens.
be. I agree.
Well, be sure and include me on the updated schedule so I can post it on the web.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Uh, all right.
Kristen's on if you want to ask about May Madness.
Oh, yeah. Kristen,
Yeah,
is May Madness going to be the 1st or the 8th?
whatever's fine. I wasn't sure what kind of fit into the schedule, so I said we could do either. Is it a preference?
There's a meet May 7th, but that's
Okay,
first.
When is Mother's
Okay.
Day, though? Like, you might not have
Oh,
Mother's Day.
I don't think it was Mother's Day, but hold on.
Mother's
Yeah,
Day
you-
is the 8th, Kristen.
Okay, yeah, so we'll do the first then.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Mhm.
Oh, no. Editing.
Luke, what team are you with? It says PALE.
I'm with Piranha Aquatics.
Okay, got it.
Uh,
Thank you.
Yep. Should I change that or is it okay how it is?
I'm good. I'm good. I just didn't. I was like, Pale, that must be a new team. I don't know that code.
Yes. Sorry. It's Piranha Aquatics Lake Erie.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. All right. Now I'm good. Isaac, just as I said I would do it, make sure you put your team name next to your name.
Okay, Vince, I'll take care of that right now.
First and last names would be great, people. Just so I have it for record, as I'm frantically writing everyone's name.
Updated it. Hopefully that helps. I will give everybody a couple minutes, but please use your full name first and last, and then your club code next to it for our roll call.
If you are a board member, though, please put board member, don't put your team name.
Hopefully our board members know.
Some don't. Just because there was a name after, a code after. Who's the person that has play matters for their name?
All right, I'll wait one more minute as we got a few trickling in. Only 70. All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Roll call, Sarah's getting it through all of your names, so please make sure you have your first and last name and what team you represent, so we don't have to track you down later. Next is the approval of the minutes from our 2021 spring HOD meeting. Hopefully everybody got the email with a copy of that. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, you can just say aye for this one.
Aye.
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 Um,
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Cool. That one's easy. Sorry. Few announcements. So we had the USA Swimming House of Delegates last week, and there were a couple of updates in the legislation that everyone should be aware of. Due to the update in an updated Amateur Sports Act from Congress, we had to change the National House of Delegates to be composed of at least 33% athletes. And part of that was they had to be 10-year athletes. So after a few months of discussions and a special House of Delegates meeting where their proposal failed, a new proposal was passed where now the national HOD will be composed of 40% coaches, 40% athletes, and 20% non-coach, non-athletes, just so everyone is aware. So our voting delegates have changed at the national level due to Congress passing a law. The diversity, equity, and inclusion chair is now mandated to be a part of every LSC's board. So we will be holding a election pretty much from the floor later in our reports requiring action. Also, the next most important one that I saw was the approval of a developmental meet schedule and how those are performed. Those will be sent to our technical planning committee to consult with our scheduling committee to possibly implement those starting next fall. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. There was a lot of different changes and things like that. Just trying to make things a little easier for 12 and under and newer athletes to participate in competition. Does anybody else who attended any committee meetings have any announcements from House of Delegates, any board members feel they need to share anything? Okay. All that's accessible through USA Swimming's website. So if you're ever curious what went on, go to USA Swimming and then look at the annual business meeting. So you should be able to reference all of that. Okay, moving on. First thing on the agenda is our legislation. So if you bear with me for a second, I will pull up our legislation. All right, so here's our proposed legislation. Hopefully everybody had a copy of this ahead of time and had an opportunity to read through it. We'll do these as two separate pieces. So to start, can I have a motion to approve the first proposal of 6.2.1?
Still moved.
A second. All right, any discussion from, I guess it's actually proposed by Zach, yes?
Yeah.
His name needs to be added to that. They were all on it.
Yeah,
that
this
was
is
my
just
error.
it's a PDF, so I couldn't edit it, but would you guys like to speak to the legislation?
Yeah, I'll just basically provide some background on how we came to this. So both points basically have the same purpose. What we realized as athlete reps that while it is important to have diversity among teams, it's also important to have athlete quality over athlete representation from their team. We believe that we have strong athlete leadership as well as strong people who are interested in being on a junior rep, senior rep at large, or on the AEC. We feel as the current is written in the bylaws, it's currently discriminating against those athletes who may be from the same team, but can't run for these positions because they have another team member that's already fulfilled the spot. And we think as athletes, we should strive to allow all athletes to have the same opportunities despite geographical location based on where they go for a team. We'd rather have quality over location. So that's basically the whole purpose that came before both pieces of legislation. Megan or Matt, if you want to add anything.
I think that covers it.
I do too. I just wanted to say that in our mission statement, we thrive to have that equality for all athletes and equal opportunity, which we believe this is kind of discriminating against that.
This is Julie. Can we fix the grammar so that instead of it be recommended, it should say it is recommended? That would be on both pieces.
If I have to accept that, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, would you accept that as a friendly? Yeah,
That works.
okay, so that'll say it is recommended. And on the next piece, it will be it is recommended.
Mia,
For-
since you, excuse me, real quick, Mia, since you wrote this, can you just, because I only have a PDF also, I think. I might have a Word doc, I'd have to look. or
Yeah,
maybe
I
Google
can,
Docs.
I can send you the Google Doc for it.
Okay, that would be awesome. Thank
Should
you.
I do that like right now, or is it fine if I send it after?
You can send.
Okay.
I've got a question. Is this so for the board positions, they could team?
Correct. It is recommended that they are not, but not required.
Okay, because I think it's important for board representation to represent the entire LSC and would not be in favor of the athlete reps being from the same team.
Yes, this came up in our discussion, but we strongly thought quality of athlete representation held a little bit more weight than team, because feel bad to discriminate an athlete because they're on the same team, but are really eager to be involved. That was the only reason that this was pushed forward.
And to echo off of what Zach said a little bit, it is recommended but not required for those BOD positions that the athletes are on different teams. And I know we have a lot of reps terming out this spring and March. So, I mean, we're going to do the best we can every single year to keep those board of direct reps from different teams. But it's more or less like if worse comes to worse and we have a very, very, very bad athletes to choose from, we would rather that athletes be motivated to work in their position rather than pick an athlete who has either no experience or no desire to be in the role just because they're from a different team.
I can give a little background on why that was put in the bylaws to begin with. There were several years where the athlete rep from one club, the senior rep, would nominate the junior athlete rep from their club, and that kept going for a number of years. You know, the tendency is for the senior rep to win people on their team. So, you know, I'm not necessarily against this legislation, but it's going to behoove the senior athlete rep to go beyond his own team as you're seeking out nominations for junior athlete rep.
And just to clarify, we're only talking about the two athlete reps on the board. We'll talk about the committees below as a separate item. So this is just for the senior and junior athlete on the board. Any further discussion? All right, we will vote using the raise hand feature. So if you go into participants, click on have the opportunity to raise your hand. Oh, Kevin, I see your hand is raised. Would you like to speak? No, just kidding. All right, but you know how to raise your hand. That's good. So seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of this first piece of legislation, please raise your hand. All right, that's enough. We have a majority.
It takes
So-
2/3
Oh, is this
of the
2/3? I'm sorry.
of those present and voting. I don't know
Okay.
how many were present and voting.
We're at 74. We need 49. And we have 52 participants raising their hand. So with 52 voting for the legislation, it passes. I will now lower everyone's hand. All right, now all those, I guess we can still do it. All those opposed, please raise your hand.
I don't understand. I had to raise my hand. An issue, but I oppose.
Okay. As long as we know. All right. That's fine. So we have a handful opposing.
Vince, just so you know, I can't see any of the hands. Like,
Okay,
for some
that's
reason.
all right. We have 7 opposed.
I don't know how to do it. Says it's under participants. I don't see it.
Under reactions too. And you can do your hand there.
All right. Well, okay. So it passes. There'll be 8 opposed at that point. 8 opposed. And all right, moving on to the next piece of legislation is the same idea. But this would be for athlete for the AEC, so the Athletes Executive Committee. Still, again, recommending but not requiring. So do I have a motion to approve this piece of legislation?
Still moved.
Okay.
All right, any discussion? All right, I'm hearing no discussion. We'll move on to voting then. So all those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, I have 53 hands raised. As a for vote, I will lower everyone's hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. All right, and Sarah, we have 7 no votes. For all hands. Okay, I think that wraps up our legislation unless anyone has any legislation to propose from the floor. Going once, going twice. Moving on. Next is the approval of the LESI 2022 short course championship meet format. And so I will pass it over to Aaron and I will pull up each group champs. Aaron, the floor is yours.
Okay. So the first thing we have up is 8 and under champs. It is March 12th, 2022. It will be the PM session in between prelims and finals at JOs at Cleveland State. Lake Erie will be the host, time finals. The events are all listed there. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, Aaron, on regional championships, I guess I've got an issue with where it says use age the first day of age group champs. That flies in the face of USA swimming rules.
Julie, we're on 8 and under champs real quick.
Oh,
Jump
okay,
ahead.
we're not, sorry, I thought we were doing the whole thing. Wishful thinking.
Yeah. Any discussion on 8 and under champs? Going once? Twice? All right, can we vote to approve 8 and under champs? Vince, you'll have to tell me when we're,
I'll let you know.
thank you.
All right, we are above half,
Awesome.
so that'll pass.
All right, hands down, please.
I'll get them.
Okay. All right, on to regional champs. The dates are either February 25th or 26th, depending on which site. The locations are on the chart. It is time finals. It will be slower than NAG double B standards. The events are all listed. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, Julie?
Okay, use the age of the first day of age group champs. I guess I've got an issue with that. Their age is as of the first day of the meet. I guess you could change that to read that they're subject to the timestamps that will be in effect for their age as of age group champs. But when they actually swim in this, they will swim their actual age. I mean, that's a USA swimming rule that we're in no position to defy unless you get special permission from the rules and regs.
Okay. I think the issue was, and the wording just needs to be adjusted. The issue is those kids who age up between regionals and JOs. So I will happily take a friendly amendment if you can reword it for me.
The swimmers who age up, well, actually, I don't know what your intent is here. If they're, is your intent that if they age up and then they're going to be too slow for age group champs, that then they should be able to swim in regionals? Or is it the other way around? I mean, that's always been the issue is the kids are too fast for regionals, but then they age up and then they're too slow for age group champs.
Correct. Yes.
What do you
that's
want
the
it to
problem.
be?
Yeah.
What do you want it to be?
That they're too fast for regionals, but then they age up before JS and don't have cuts.
So then they may swim at regionals? Is that?
Yes, they will need to swim at regionals then.
Okay, but they have to swim at regionals at their actual age.
Okay. Yes.
Now you can make them exhibition or something if you want, but they swim at their actual age.
Aaron, could we use the statement swimmers who are excluded from age group or from JOs due to aging up between the meets will be permitted to switch champs? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, we can use that.
Because then they would still swim, you know, even if they had the double B for 11-12, they would still swim 11-12 because they don't have the 13-year-old cuts. And we don't score it. So I don't think there's a need for exhibition. So
Yeah, so swimmers who age up between regionals and JOs can enter. correct? How did you phrase that?
That's fine.
And swim
said-
can enter.
Swimmers who were excluded from regionals, who then, swimmers who would be excluded from JOs because they age up after regionals. I don't know.
Okay.
That can enter and swim.
Can't remember how we worded it.
Okay, it's in one of the old meat packets. So,
Yeah.
okay. But I'm happy with that change. That's what it was, the intent was.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion on regionals?
Are these the usual regional sites? Like,
They're fairly close. I went through and we had to redistrict a couple teams because some teams had combined, some teams no longer exist. So we did move a couple people around, a couple teams around, just to kind of even out the sites size-wise and geographically. We wanted to make the sites similar in size and competitiveness. So it is very, very close to what it was 2 years ago, just a few minor changes. Any other discussion?
Should the dates be the 26th and 27th?
Yes. So that's Saturday, the 26th and Sunday, the 27th. I must have had the 2021 calendar open. Thank you.
Erin, are you making all these changes?
I am.
Okay, perfect. Will you send it to me then?
Yeah.
I'm writing them down, but I'm not making them on like a hard.
Okay, yeah, I got them. Any other comments?
that's a question, and I love my stars, folks, but their pool is down. What happens if it's still down? I could be making that up, but I think it's down.
We will take the teams that are at Solon and we will distribute them between the other 3 sites.
It'd be better to just have someone replace their site. Those could be pretty big.
Yeah, those are some big teams. I don't know that that'll work. Hopefully Solon's pool is back up and running. I know Kevin's on here. Kevin, can you speak to that at all?
Sorry, yes. Right now, we are a little unsure as to the status of the pool. We are still hoping that we will be in there by the end of January, but exactly for sure right now.
Okay, yeah, I would rather put in a team pick up that location, just because I agree with Sarah and the others.
Is the relocation, sorry, I didn't raise my hand. Is a relocation just up to the age group committee, or will they take input from the teams that are being relocated as to where they might like to go?
I'm happy to take input for sure, if we need to. And then we need to look at, the size of the meets. We can't have everybody going to one site, but I will definitely reach out to those teams and make sure we're getting you close, and also, even it out in terms of size wise too.
I just think the hard one would be to go to the Saturday, just because it is still the state meet.
Correct.
I'm looking at a bunch of those teams that have, coaches that coach high school and age group and all that stuff to go to Piranhas. Kristen, not that I don't want to go, but.
Well, if those of you who have brought it up, we can always put in here that we can, if Solon cannot host it, I can send something out and have them host it. It's something we can visit later instead of debating it here. I'm happy to add that in.
I agree. I think that's a great point.
Okay. So I will add in here that if there would be an issue with Solon's pool, that I will reach out to the LSC and see if somebody else wants to host it. And if nobody else does, then we will figure out how to divide the teams up.
Should we be qualified as any pool? Solon's pool. What if another pool lit on fire?
I suppose we can do that.
Well, I think we should, because like right now, like, let's say YSU or Oberlin, like those are colleges. You know, a lot of the colleges right now are talking about maybe, you know, closing down their campuses. So it could be, you know, one of those also.
Okay, so my chat and my texts are blowing up that people are offering pools. So I don't think we'll have an issue. So I will just put that in there that if any pool is unable to host, I will reach out and we will go from there. Good with that?
Yes, fantastic.
All right. Any further discussion on regionals? All right, then we will go ahead and vote.
Yeah, all those in favor, raise your hand. Raise your hand. All right, we're well beyond.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So for JOs, I apologize. I was looking at the 2021 calendar when I put these dates in. The date JOs would be March 11th through the 13th. At Cleveland State, hosted by Lake Erie. It will be time finals on Friday evening, prelims finals on Saturday and Sunday. We will offer bonus cuts. The time standards would be the 21, 24 NAG double B or faster. The events are listed there. And just to clarify on the score, it will be top 10 and 10 and under. 11, 12 will have A finals only, and 13, 14 will have A and B. May I have a motion to pass JOs?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to see if we can add the 1,000 freestyle to events. It normally is in the short course meets.
For all age groups?
11 and over.
It is typically in there. I did copy and paste from last year, which we couldn't offer it due to the COVID restrictions. But it has been, Kristen is right, it has been in there in the past. So that was my apology, if we're okay with adding that in.
I have a quick question about clarification here.
Sure.
Teams may bring up to 2 relay-only swimmers to fill out A relays only. Is that 2 relay-only swimmers per relay event, or for the day, or for the meet, or what?
It's 2 relay only swimmers for the relay. I think all but one day, there's only 1 relay on each day.
Okay, so, but they can have 2 different each day?
Yes.
Is that, it's per age group, per gender, correct?
Correct.
We might want to put that in there.
It's in the meet packet. It's the same as it was this summer. Anybody else? All right, if there's no further discussion, we'll take a vote on JOs.
Oh, okay.
Please raise your hand.
We had a few quick hands. If you meant to speak, that's okay. I think they were just excited to vote. All right, that passes.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Nice job.
All right. Moving on, I will propose senior champs as we're still locking down our senior chair. Proposed senior champs, March 4 through 6. I think the rest of it is all the same. The only difference was short course for prelims and finals. We'd previously done long course finals. So anybody on the senior committee wants to say it, but I think that was the only change that we had made in the meet.
Where is it located at? Am I blind?
Akron.
Okay, thanks. Fast, are you running that? Or is it us?
You got it.
Woo, winning, okay.
So what I meant to say was, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, now we can have discussion. Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none. Going once, going twice. All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Someone's clapping. Good job. All right, that passes.
The senior meet's going
I
to be
missed
at
the chat.
Akron, Brad.
Yeah. All right. Doing good. So, where are we next? Pull up the agenda. Next is the approval of the long course schedule. Throw that up there. All right, here is the long course schedule. Do I have a motion to approve?
So
moved. Second.
Yep, sounds good. Any discussion, dates that need to be fixed is usually our discussion points on this.
And please look at this one because we did make some corrections. We added the May Madness meet's going to be on May 1st. It had an 8th, and I think we added the dates for JOs. So this one is a little different than the one that was emailed to you guys earlier this week.
All right, hearing no, oops. Freelander has a D in it. All right, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Great, thank you. Put all your hands down, that'll pass. And we will again, yeah, we'll send that out with all the updates on there. And this is the one that'll be posted.
And then you'll send that to myself and Pam.
Yep, I'll send it right after the meeting.
Fantastic, thank you.
Next is the approval of the 2022 budget. Mark, I have the budget. Would you like me to start with the assumptions?
Yes, I think that's probably the best place to start.
Okay. Let me, it's this one. There we go. All right, floor is yours, Mark.
All right, guys. So just a quick recap. So with COVID, obviously, budget assumptions are a little more challenging. Last year, looks like we're going to turn out a little bit on the positive side of the budget. So here's some of the assumptions that I made. And it's based basically a net zero budget. The swimmer surcharges and sanctions fees I think to be about 95% of 2019 actual income. Typically in an Olympic year, this would be a year that we would be over 100%, but I'm being a little more cautious just based on COVID. US registrations were projected about 4,000 athletes. The actual registrations was around 4,500 in 2017. So you're seeing the trend there. So that's kind of with that number. 14 and under central zone meet. We're projecting that to be a 5-day meet at $38 per athlete. That's what we traditionally have reimbursed for. We do have 100 swimmers in that budget. So that would be at a very high point of athletes. We certainly hope that we'll have 100. In the past, we haven't, hit that number just most recently, but I felt more comfortable keeping that number a little bit higher because that would, kind of give us some buffer in the budget if there wasn't that many athletes. Certainly we're hopeful, but age group champs, we're budgeting 1,250 because we really haven't held in 8+ years. So that was kind of an assumption Diane and I kind of came up with. This year we do traditionally run the symposium. In past, we've budgeted 2,500. That seems to work out pretty well. So that number I feel very comfortable with. Training reimbursement for officials. Certainly we want to encourage more officials. We need more officials. We certainly want to, so we increased the budget to $1,000 and hopeful that we can recruit and encourage more officials to get more training. National qualifying meet evaluators, we've budgeted $1,000. That's kind of what we spent over the last couple years. Felt that number is pretty solid. Volunteer recognition, the committee feels very committed to our volunteers and rewarding our volunteers, even if they're just small gift cards. I think with COVID, there's, there's always a need for volunteers, but I think we definitely want to keep money in the budget for people who go out of their way and volunteer. We want to recognize that. We've have that budgeted for $1,200. We haven't traditionally used that every year, but definitely wanted to make sure we had that budgeted. Awards program, that is budgeted for an in-person program with a meal. Obviously with COVID, it's very difficult to figure out if we're going to have those in-person meetings or all hopeful. So we budgeted on the conservative side that we would have a meal, certainly in person. If that doesn't happen, that's a positive effect for the budget. But that's kind of how I approached that program. The Elaine Miller, we have been very consistent, budgeting $10,000. We have not used the $10,000 in the last couple of years. So for everyone on the call, the Elaine Miller is for families that are in a financial position where they cannot maybe participate, and the board is helping to subsidize some of that potential loss. We do have a proposal in the budget for a Learn to Swim program. And certainly there's been a lot of discussion with the board around this to try to encourage everyone, diversity, primarily for increasing Learn to Swim. And hopefully some of those Learn to Swim swimmers will eventually, end up on clubs teams. So hopefully that will encourage the increase in the swimming athletes overall. Club incentives is budgeted for $2,000. Travel reimbursement for the national level. We have, kind of kept that at 2019 numbers. All clinics and meetings have been moving to Zoom, and I think USA Swimming is certainly going in that direction. Kind of kept that, consistent with what USA Swimming is advising, and I've been in contact with some of the USA Swimming officials, and it seems like they are moving less and less towards in-person conventions and more in clinics and more towards online clinics. Permanent office, we've proposed a 5% raise. There has been no raise in the past 3 years. So if you look at that, it works out to 1.5% raise a year. It's certainly not, keeping up with what we would call, cost of living increases, but we did feel as a gesture, and that Pam has been so committed to Lake Erie Swimming that we propose a 5% raise with that nominal increase. So those were the assumptions of the budget. Certainly open to discussion, but with that, I would like to propose, if I could make an motion to approve the budget.
Second.
Discussion?
For the convention, since they're more shifting towards the zone workshop and the USA Swimming side, is there anything budgeted for sending Lake Erie representatives to the zone workshop, or is that included in that?
That is included in the budget, so there is money there. It just seems that there's we haven't really changed it much because it does look like the direction is going to be through Zoom calls.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mark, just because we had a meeting the other day, the central zone will have an in-person workshop in April in Chicago. That will be the majority of who would normally.
Well, that's definitely encouraging. So that hopefully we have more of them. And we do have some, the regular amounts budgeted for it. So we may not have as much of a positive effect, but we still have $1,000 in there. Certainly, if we'll have to kind of discuss about is 1,000 enough? I guess.
If folks aren't going to the convention, we could just use those funds. So really, in the scope of life, we're fine.
Why don't we just combine zone and convention into one line? Make it 9640.
I'll second that amendment.
I like that idea.
Winning.
We'll combine those two. Any more discussion?
Yeah, Mark, could you explain a little bit more about the Learn to Swim proposal?
Certainly, yeah. Sonia had piloted a concept of trying to encourage more diversity in swimming and trying to start that at a very early age. So what we've decided to do is to put that under in the budget, the DEI funding. So that would fall under the Learn to Swim and Diversity swim program. So we felt it was important to try to increase diversity, but also trying to increase the overall Learn to Swim programs, because in some of the less fortunate communities, there still are people drowning and not learning how to swim. So as a board, we are funding that. That's a new budget item for this year. So that's, Chuck, that's concept around that Learn to Swim DEI funding program.
I certainly don't disagree that the communities basically it involves a number of communities, but there have not been a USA team in the city of Cleveland in probably 20 years or more. And certainly I agree that drowning is a significant issue in minority communities. I'm just concerned about how that's being spent and how it's being allocated.
We haven't figured it out yet, but one of the things we talked about, having some kind of a process that folks that are interested in would have to pay for a portion of the lesson, and then that money would be used to pay for the remaining portion. It's still under talk, but when it starts till next year.
Yeah, so Chuck, there's been talk about maybe the board supplies, $60 towards a family, and then the family has to be invested in a 10, so like $10, so like a 60-10 split or some type of split. Talking through how that the mechanics of that would work, but certainly we're very mindful in going into that both parties would have to have some type of financial commitment in order to participate or to receive funds.
All right.
Mark, I had two questions. So one just came up because of what you just brought up. So I'm assuming that you mean that at some point the board's going to put out information about how we can go about applying for that for when the details are kind of hashed out.
Correct.
Number two, on the national reimbursement. So this meet that's been added in May with Winter Junior Cup, would that fall under a national meet reimbursement?
Yes, I believe so. I think that that would fall under the national reimbursement budget.
I just wanted to make sure, because if you could have a kid that goes to that and then reapplies for reimbursement to attend like the juniors in August. So that would, because that's going to be 2 applications within a summer.
Right. Yeah.
Mark, under sponsored activities, what's the diversity meet? Is that something that we're going to host, or is that swimmer reimbursement to a diversity meet being held elsewhere? What is that?
Yeah, so that's a diversity meet that's held elsewhere. Traditionally, we've had it in the budget. Over the years, no one really has participated, but with USA Swimming and as a board, we felt it was important to have it in there, encourage diversity swimmers to, I think last year was, I think it was in Cincinnati, to participate, and that would be reimbursement for that meet.
I'm curious why you wouldn't have put that under athlete travel reimbursed. Is that because we don't have a policy on it? About amount? Or what?
Yeah, that's a great question, Julie. I'm not really sure. Diane had just, we just kind of put it in with that line item. I can check with her. I don't know if she's on the call.
And I think that
In the past, it was the Black History Month meet. And
in
it was
February.
it was funded this way. We generally paid for a coach to attend to keep track of the kids, I guess, and then paid the entry fees for the athletes. So that's kind of where that 400 budget came from.
Okay, I think the central zone has been holding some kind of diversity meet, so I'm not sure. I think the board needs to be looking at it.
And have they been doing a diversity meet or just the clinic? Like, I know we have sent some of our kids to like a clinic in Indiana.
I think it's both. I think it's a clinic
Okay.
one day and then the meet the next day or something.
Yes, it's the multicultural meet, and it's held this year in Evansville, Indiana.
Any more discussion?
So can we vote with those amended items?
Yeah, Vince, can we take it to a vote?
Yeah, all those in favor, please raise your hand.
And Diane or Mark, you send me advised, with those couple changes.
Yes, Sarah, I'll send it to you.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, that is enough to pass, especially for this one. Are there any who oppose? So I'm going to lower everyone's hand right now. Anyone oppose the budget? Okay. There were no opposing votes, no nays. All right, thanks, Mark.
Absolutely.
What do we got next?
The accounting review.
County review. There we go.
Yeah, Vince, I could just take this one really quick, but last couple of years, we've been using S&S CPAs out of Fairmont, Ohio, to do our independent audit of our financial statements and financial review. They basically have come back and given us a clear green light. Basically, we're following best practices, best policies, and everything in our financial statements. All these documents were sent to USA Swimming. They've since have gotten back with us and said, thanks for the report. You guys are in, good shape. And so that's kind of the summary of the accounting review. So I would like a motion to approve the accounting review. Discussion? Vince, can you take it to a vote?
Yep, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, that'll pass. Again, with financial stuff, lower everybody's hands. Does anyone oppose the accounting review? Didn't think so. All right, that will pass. No opposed. Next, with the approval by the USA House of Delegates, we need to elect a DEI chair. We did not have any previous nominations. So do we have any nominations from the floor?
I nominate Sonia Haywood.
Second, I was just gonna do that. Beat me to it, Julie.
Awesome. She is currently our DEI chair, just not in the board as that chair. Are there any other nominations?
I move the nominations be closed.
Someone second. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know the terminology, but when there's only one person, I don't think we have to vote.
You got to
but-
vote on closing it first.
Oh, darn it. All right. All those in favor of closing the nominations, please raise your hand. Perfect. That'll do.
A motion to elect Sonia by acclamation.
Second.
All those in favor? That'll do. Sonia, congratulations. Next, reports requiring no action. Kristen?
All I have is that we have wards committee and legislation both need volunteers. So if anyone is interested, or if anyone has any names of people who might be interested, I can start reaching out to them. Let me know. And that's all.
We are currently filling our senior chair. Age group, Aaron.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Coaches reps, Stacy or Sarah.
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Athletes.
Nothing really to report, just more of an announcement type thing. So the AAC works really hard every month to just provide really good resources to the athletes and to Lake Erie in general. But we're not able to do that without really good club reps that are involved in their position. And looking at the information I have right now for all clubs in Lake Erie, we do have some teams that are going to have club reps terming out within the next year. It's 11 teams total. And we also have 4 teams. It's AAC, BBSC, CCS, and WHAT. They are all having club reps right now who are either inactive or have graduated already. I've tried to get in contact with the coaches or like team reps for these teams, and I haven't heard much. So if you are from one of those 4 teams, please email the athletes committee to find a new club rep for your team, essentially, because we can't continue to do work as an AAC without club reps that are invested in their position. So that is all.
Thank you, Mia. Technical planning, no. Zone chair, Kyoko. She's on. Diane, treasurer. I think we heard all that. Fine.
Nothing to report.
Legislation, we don't currently have a legislation chair. So if you like legislation, let me know. Operational risk, Brandon.
Just quickly, just to note, there are no, as we continue to move through COVID, there's no LSC restrictions due to COVID, but facilities may have facility-specific restrictions or requirements. So as you're really looking at that meet packet to see if there's any good requirements so that you're prepared for the meet, and looking at the warm-up info that's posted. And that's all I have.
Officials, Jen. I don't know if Jen's on here.
Oh, that's me too. Jen's not here. Officials, we had our meeting today. We have some new apprentices in the pipeline, so we're excited to get some new faces out there. If any teams have folks interested in being an official, you can reach out to myself or Lori. and we will get them on the train.
Awesome, thank you. Secretary Sarah,
No report at this time.
membership registration, Pam?
Yeah, I've got a couple things, Vince. I'll start with the positives. For 2022, we registered in the month of September, 1,595 swimmers. And when you compare that with previous years, that's the highest. Because of the pandemic in 2021, we only registered in September 1,104, and 2020 was 1,551, 2019 was 1,579. So I'm anticipating we're going to have registration at pre-pandemic numbers in the 4,000 range to go along with Diane and Mark's budget. We also have 3 Y clubs, which are hoping to be USA clubs. And we expect approval of that probably in the next 6 weeks. We're working through that with USA Swimming and their new requirements for new club head coaches. Another thing I want to raise is the new requirements on the club application by USA Swimming. They want the federal tax ID number on the USA Swimming club application form. They also want to know information regarding your Learn to Swim program if you have one. Also on that 2022 form is a place where the clubs list their board members. In the summer of 2020, the USA Swimming passed that club board members are required to be non-athlete members, and which means they have to go through the background and the APT process. That was not on the 2021 club application form, but it is on the 2022 application form. So I am not renewing any club until their board members that are listed on the club application form are current non-athlete members. And that simply means that the clubs from 2021 are good until December 31st. So they've got 3 months basically to get their board members current non-athlete members. The next thing, which of course impacts people, is the athlete protection training and the Coach Advantage tutorial. There have been problems at the USA Swimming level since August with these being updated in non-athlete swims records. And we were told this would be an easy fix. And here we are 6 weeks later, and it's still not fixed. People that are applying are going through the APT for the first time, taking the core module, no problem. Those that need renewal of their APT, that's a problem. And sometimes they're not getting updated in their swims record. And we are told to have them email learn@usaswimming.org. And they're understaffed right now. And so they're getting, as you might imagine, tons of emails from all across the LSCs regarding this. So I don't know when this is going to be fixed, but it's not fixed yet. So any questions?
Yeah, Pam, I do have a question because I think I fall into this in like the next 13 days. What if I go and take it and like it doesn't get updated? Like what happens?
Then you have to email
Well, and I
learn@usaswimming.org.
understand that, but what if they don't respond? Like then am I
You're
out
you're
and I,
not
like, can't-
considered current. You're not considered current.
Okay,
The registration,
perfect.
the National Registration Committee, and I've been on Zoom meetings with them. They asked that this all APT be extended till the end of the year, December 31st, but probably because of safe sport, USA Swimming is not willing to go that way. And like I said, they've been telling us since August, it's going to be fixed within a week. And here we are, meets are starting and it's not fixed.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? If you have any questions about any of these items, that I brought up, especially club renewal, the board members, and APT and CAT, please just let me know. Thank you.
Pam, there's a question in the chat. Can we just take the core course over again?
Wonderful.
I think
I don't think you can, okay, but I certainly will investigate and let you know, because yes, that would be the easy fix on our side. Yeah.
I didn't think of that. I thought that was good. Okay. Safe sport, Sonia.
I don't think Sonia's here.
I don't think so. We nominated her for the board though. Any old business? Any new business?
I have new business, Vince.
Yeah, go ahead, Nancy.
And this is Nancy, and I'm chair of the sanction committee. And first of all, I'd like to kind of like introduce the people in my neighborhood. There's Julie Bear, Sarah Tobin, and Lori Baylor, aside, and of course, Pam Cook, aside from myself. We basically read anybody who is looking to have their meets sanctioned or approved. So I think the first thing that we request is that anytime that any team wants to have a meet sanctioned or approved, they have to send their application form and their meet information directly to Pam Cook. Sometimes we have teams that ask us directly to look over their information, but they don't send that application form to Pam. And we cannot do anything without that application form. That said, any meet that is not in the schedule, so like an inter-squad, a dual meet, a tri-meet, any of those meets, when you send in your application form, you should send us also the list of your officials. We cannot do anything unless we have the list of your officials. And so you need an admin, a referee, a starter, and for a 6-lane pool, you need at least 1 stroke and turn. So that's at least 4 officials. And if you have an 8-lane pool or more, you have to have at least 2 stroke officials, 2 stroke and turn officials. We also ask that you turn in your application forms in a timely manner, regardless of whether they are scheduled meets. Actually, especially for scheduled meets, they go up on the website many times. The meet information butts into the deadline that is posted for the entries to be submitted. And we have to understand that the other teams that want to enter those meets need to plan their schedules also, and they need to let their families know that if they're interested in going to this meet that the team wants to go to, they need to have earlier, they need to know earlier than like a week before the deadline. So if you can turn in, policies and procedure tells us that we need to turn in scheduled meet information and applications within 12 weeks. And it's not been that way. We understand that, COVID, swimming pools have been difficult to find sometimes, but now that we're getting back to pre-COVID situations, we should have at least gotten our swimming pools scheduled. So if we can get those meet informations and application forms earlier, what Pam does is she turns over the application and the swim information to me, and then I may send it over to someone else. And if that meet information is not really kosher yet, there's a back and forth between the person turning it in and the person reading it. So, there's another lag time right there. So if we can get those meet informations and application forms earlier than later, once the application form once the sanction is given by Pam, if it's an unscheduled meet, she will bill the teams the $100. But if it's a sanctioned meet and you need to send in your report, please send it to Diane Finnerty. Send it also within the 45 days that you are requested to do so. And, this way bookkeeping is also done properly. Backups, you need a pre and post backup. Please turn them in Pam Cook as soon as you can. If it's a meet event file, turn them in to Pam as soon as you can, as soon as it's sanctioned, so that she can post it also on the website. And I think that is all. I think that's all, Vince. Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Any other new business? Matt, do you have?
Yeah,
comment?
I just wanted to let all the coaches know that we were talking a little bit earlier, and I am going to try to invite a couple times a year, like a season, all the coaches are a meeting at a swim meet. So for instance, like at Whole Tree in between sessions, a quick like hour meeting, because a lot of the coaches I guess I feel, and having confirmed with a couple coaches, that trying to get changes or trying to get everybody's ideas at the coaches meeting right before House of Delegates is kind of not enough time. It always seems to be rushed. So a couple times a year, expect an invitation from, I guess, myself, just kind of getting all the coaches together to brainstorm ideas and changes off of each other, so that, we're not rushed and pressured at the last second right before House of Delegates. I think there's a lot of good ideas out there that go kind of under the rug because it's just not properly planned, or, Carl suggested we get part of the committees and stuff like that. So this is just another invitation for us, our voices to be heard. And I think that, at some of these bigger meets would be a great time for the coaches to get together for a couple minutes and talk about ideas. So just a heads up that I will be throwing together invites a couple times this season to the coaches to kind of get everybody's opinion. So, all right. Thanks, guys.
Vince, I have one thing. I just want to plug something, because then hopefully we can make it, the whole LSC can participate. BBA and Hudson Heat are doing a sock drive. We're calling it Socktober. And we are asking for new socks, men's, women, and children. We will have bins available at the mile meet, the Stevie meet, and the Spooktacular. We are going to donate them to the Salvation Army Harbor Light. And that's it.
Cool. All right, our next House of Delegates meeting.
Hey, Vince, real quick, just to piggyback off that, if
people want to collect those as a team, I'm willing to pick those up from a team if they're not going to attend one of those meets. But possibly if that's an option, we would be happy to come get them from you.
Cool. Yeah, our next House of Delegates meeting is we're gonna go to be determined. Lots of moving pieces. Hopefully we can see each other in person. So thank you so much. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, sweet. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon.